Hey y'all, welcome back for another hunting ammo ballistics gel test. Today we've got Federal Powershok Copper, the 150 grain version in 308 Winchester. And here's my test rifle, a Ruger American Gen 1. Yes, I did the custom paint job myself. It's got a 22-inch barrel, and I did have it threaded for a suppressor. And of course, I've got one of my handmade leather cartridge cuffs on here. I've got 308 stamped on the front, and a whitetail buck on the back. Check out my website, shopmasonleather.com. I'd love to make you one. I'll be taking 3 shots into ballistics gel from 100 yards. So let's shoot it. And we are down here at the blocks after shooting that Federal 150 grain copper load out of the 308 Winchester. We captured all 3 bullets way down here in the 3rd block. We got some deep penetration here. Uh-oh, I don't know if you can hear that. It is, it's getting pretty nasty out here. If the footage is a little bit grainy, it's because I've had to adjust the camera settings due to the lighting out here. It's actually really dark, so I've had to turn up some of the lighting settings on the camera so I can actually see. So if the footage is a little grainy, that's why. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and look at penetration. I turned this last block on its side so we can see these bullets a little bit better. There is one of them right there. We're gonna give that one 37 inches. This one is right about 37 inches as well. And then this one is about, we're gonna give that one, it's kissing 38.5 inches. So deep penetration, beyond 3 feet of penetration with these 150 grain copper bullets. Incredible. And coming on over to the first block, the wound cavities look about like copper bullet wound cavities tend to do, which is to say not super impressive. This is 3 stacked up. I tried to spread the shots out, but wound up actually stacking them in there pretty tight. Nevertheless, you can kind of make out the individual ones. They're not real big. Look at these right here. These are from the 168 grain Winchester USA Ready open tips. This is a big nasty wound track. These are not. These are nice and narrow. They do go deep and they taper off completely at about, gosh, the 12 to 13 inch mark, but they're just nothing to write home about. And that is pretty standard for solid copper bullets. You don't get the upfront shock. What you do get though is really deep penetration, which is what we got here. So let's go ahead and dig these out and take a look. All right, y'all, we got the bullets pulled out of the blocks. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. Weight retention, we got something very interesting, never before seen on the channel thus far, but there's a first time for everything. 150, 150, and 153 grains. That's right, for an average of 151 grains retained weight. So we actually have 101% weight retention. That's correct, you heard that right. One of the bullets was 153 grains. I checked it on 2 different scales. It is correct. Sometimes it happens. I've never seen it, but I guess it happens every once in a while where the bullets actually weigh a bit more. First time for everything. Moving on to expansion. 0.56, 0.57, and 0.57 inches, very consistent, par for the course for solid copper for an average of about 0.57 inches expanded diameter, and that's 1.8x expansion. With solid copper bullets, there's always a trade-off, and your more standard calibers, 243, 270, 308, things like that, you tend to see 1.7 to 1.9x expansion. It's not actually often that you get 2x or more sort of retained expansion with solid coppers until you get into larger calibers, 375, 458, stuff like that. At that level, you will see massive expansion because they have massive hollow points. But with 30 caliber stuff, 1.8x is pretty par for the course. And just look at the photo of the bullets here. Nice and uniform. They have 4 petals. They look good. On to velocity, our high was 2789, our low was 2776, so very tight spread there for an average of 2781 versus the factory spec of 2,820 feet per second. So we did come in 39 feet per second under the factory spec. Now we're using a 22-inch barrel. If you had a 24, which most 308 Winchester hunting rifles do have 22-inch barrels, no doubt you would chew up that 39 feet per second. We're really close there. Not a big deal at all. I'm very happy with it. And our estimated impact velocity down at 100 yards would be about 2,586 feet per second. Now on to penetration, and this is where your solid copper monolithics really tend to shine, and this is no exception. Very consistent too, 37, 37, 38.5 inches for an average of about 37.5 inches of penetration. Absolutely phenomenal. over 3 feet for all 3 bullets. This stuff's gonna go through whatever you need it to. If you're hunting something on, the bigger side of what you'd be hunting with a 308 Winchester, elk or something even bigger, this could be an option for you. It gives you that extra depth. And kinetic energy wise, with a 150 grain bullet going on average 2,781 feet per second, we're looking at 2,575 foot-pounds at the muzzle and 2,228 foot-pounds down there at 100 yards. All right, y'all, it's time for my final thoughts on this Federal Powershok Copper line of ammo, at least this 150 grain 308 version. It's good to see more ammo manufacturers getting into the solid copper or monolithic bullet game. For a long time, it seemed like Barnes was kind of the only name in town. Over the last few years, it seems like everyone's getting into that game. Federal has this line. Remington has their, core-locked copper line, even though it's not core-locked. It's a solid copper bullet. It's kind of silly. But it's like everyone has one now. And for the most part, they're performing very well. And this ammo was no exception. Kind of funny, we had one bullet that was actually over its spec weight. It is what it is. Funny stuff happens. This hit all the metrics. It did great. It penetrated really, really deep, which is what this kind of stuff does. I wouldn't hesitate to use it on anything that I would hunt with a 308. If you need a non-lead bullet for, maybe you're hunting somewhere that requires that and your rifle shoots this stuff accurately, I would absolutely go for it. If you've used this on game, let me and everyone else know in the comments how it did for you. And here is the back of the box. Up top, it talks about the Powershok Copper line of ammo. You've got a little graphic here showing the bullet, how it's got a hollow point to help ensure, or at least initiate expansion. Other stuff about the cartridge itself. Over to the left, we've got our ballistics chart, velocity, energy, etc. Down below that, we've actually got a little zero chart for the trajectory if you were to zero at 100 yards or 200 yards. Make of that what you will. But anyway, here you go. Here's the back of the box. Feel free to stop, pause, and read all that if you would like. And make sure you check out my website, shopmasonleather.com. Everything is handmade by me just for you. Cartridge cuffs, slings, even coffee mugs showing off all your favorite hunting cartridges. Perfect for deer camp. And I bet if you head over right now, there's a great deal waiting for you. I look forward to serving you through my leatherwork. The link is in the pinned comment, or just type shopmasonleather.com into your web browser. And if you want early access to all my videos, become a channel member. The link to join is in the pinned comment. And click one of these cards for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.